College in Canada versus America.
Ooh,
This should be interesting because
Very.
I don't really know too many differences in terms of schooling in either, like between the countries.
I don't really know much about Canada.
No, not really, but I feel like there's a lot about like America versus Europe school-wise.
Yeah.
But I would have thought they were similar.
I would have thought it was similar. And also, the videos we've done on American schools have just kind of been walkarounds and we've had to spot differences. They've not necessarily been
Sit down, tell us about,
Yeah. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Smash that button, guys. Smash the subscribe and we would really appreciate it. What's your like goal for today?
600.
600 likes. We would really appreciate if you could smash that. It does help us out and we really do appreciate it. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm interested.
Let's get into it. College in Canada versus America. What have we got?
Hi guys, welcome to my office. I'm just kidding. I'm a student, so I don't have an office.
Oh, is this going to be a walk around?
Is this a day in the life?
I don't know. Is she in Canada or America? Ooh,
I still have no idea.
I think this is America.
And she's from Canada.
Yeah, what do you think?
We share the Canada Cup, so I feel like she's repping her country in a different country.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. This just looks American, but I don't know what looks Canadian.
That could look like Toronto, though, to be fair. I have no idea.
I don't know.
She doesn't look like she's at school. She looks like she's a teacher.
Yeah.
I am in my boss's office right now. So I am currently a master's student at the University of Houston in the marketing department. I'm also a teaching assistant, but I did my undergraduate degree in Toronto in theater. So it's kind of a big shift, both geographically and career-wise, but This is where I am, this is what I'm doing, and basically I've been here since August, so I've been here for one full semester, and there's a lot of things that I noticed that are super different when it comes to universities in the States and in Canada, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, first things first is when you actually are applying to get into the school. So in Canada, they look at your grades a little bit in high school, but it's mostly about the full entire application. So you have to write an essay usually, you have to do an interview, and it's really based off of your personality, whereas in the States you have to write a standardized test. So if you're doing your undergraduate degree, you have to write the SATs. If you're doing a master's degree, you either have to write the GMAT or the GRE, depending on what program you're going into. So it's really based off of that standard grade.
So when I went to uni, I had to obviously look at your grades. Then I had to do a written assignment on, like, they gave me, for my interview, they gave me already, like, a scenario or whatever, and I had to write based on it, then bring that to the
So like a mixture?
Yeah.
I think when I did my HNC, I did have an interview thinking about it, but I had to have certain grades. I had to have done certain courses before, and then it was interview, but I'm pretty sure everyone who went to the interview got in, and it kind of felt like more of a get to know you, not a we're judging you on this. Unless you're an absolute idiot. But I think to get to that point, you're not an idiot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe a bit of both of that as well.
Yeah.
Grade that everybody gets, and oftentimes you won't even make it to the next round, like the interview and the essay stage, until you've met that certain standard of grades. So that's a big difference when you're actually applying to go to a university in Canada or the US. Also, your GPA is everything in the US. Your GPA, it stands for grade point average, so it's just your general grade. So not only for applying, but also when you're in class. Everybody knows pretty much what their GPA is. It's really important. People like to talk about it.
We don't really have that, do we?
I think ours would be our end of year predicted grade, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. But you don't
So,
know
like,
that, really, do you?
No, so when I applied for uni from my my sixth form college thing, so I don't know what that is for them. We had to apply for uni. You had to put in what your predicted grade is, what your teacher gave you, and
for each subject and stuff like that.
Not for me, because I just came from college, so I just put in my predicted grade for my diploma.
I missed that gap. I didn't do college sixth form. I just went straight into work and then did an apprenticeship. Yeah,
so I had to put in my sixth form expected grade overall into my uni application.
Which I guess is just a different version of GPA, I guess, isn't it?
It's just your grade prediction.
Yeah.
it to each other. I honestly have no idea what my GPA was in Canada because I feel like people don't really pay as close of attention to that. Like it's not as competitive in Canada, so it's kind of just grades don't matter as much. It's more how you perform in a group setting and the experience that you get, whereas here in the US, it's very focused on the grades that you're getting. We all know about the spelling differences in Canada and the US. So in Canada, we use British English, whereas in America, it's American English. And generally,
I did not know that. I should have known that because obviously Canada's connections with the UK. But I'd have thought they'd have used American English.
I never really thought about
That's interesting to know.
What happened to Canadian English?
I think Canada is just part of the UK colony.
I know.
So.
But again, American English started from the UK bringing it over.
So they must use S's, not Z's?
They must do. Again, if you're Canadian,
well,
please
British
let us know.
English, you must.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are a lot of words that are spelled different as well, more than honestly I actually thought until I moved here and had to start like spelling things in American English. So luckily you can actually change your computer, the keyboard settings, so that it will automatically change everything to American English, so that in the beginning when you're just learning all of those word differences, it'll be a lot easier because your computer will automatically do it. I feel like
makes life easier.
It's very formal here in the States, and in Canada things are a lot more informal. So for example, in the States here, you call a teacher, you call them professor or doctor, whereas I've never used either of those words before in Canada. In Canada...
Yeah, I don't think we've ever used professor or doctor in the UK.
No.
You sir.
Sir and miss.
Miss, yeah, I guess. Yeah, miss.
For, like, the female version.
Yeah, or just, excuse me.
Yeah, or Mr., Mrs.
Yeah, whatever the second name is. Yeah, I feel like...
At university, though, we did use their first names.
Yeah, university I think is a bit more chill, isn't it? Especially in the UK, you're a bit more, because you're older, you're a bit more, not matey basis, but that it's not like you need to get that respect from a child, if that makes sense. I feel like Canada are just way more relaxed than the US on everything.
Yeah.
Called all of my professors by their first name. They introduced themselves by their first names, and they wanted you to call them by their first names.
I think Canada's very
here
like
in the States, by default, it's always professor or doctor unless they say otherwise. And it's very insulting if you don't call them that and you just go straight for their first name. So that's a big difference. Also, here in the States, and I don't know if this is just a Southern thing because everyone's very respectful of authority here, but you have to call everyone ma'am and sir, whereas in Canada, if you call someone ma'am, they get offended by it. So you just avoid saying ma'am and sir in general.
Oh, really? I get the respect thing, but that is very American. That feels very American.
Southern. I feel like that feels very Southern.
Kind of like a hospitality, kind of just
like
respect.
That gives me Texas.
Yeah, from Texas TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, like Southern America, that gives me that vibe.
Yeah.
In Canada, like I said, it's usually a first name basis for everybody, whereas here in the States, everybody calls everybody ma'am and sir all the time. Like even if someone is younger than you, you still call them ma'am or sir.
Oh, wow.
It's just different, something to note. Okay, this one is kind of, I don't know if it's just me or if this is a Canada versus America thing, but I'm gonna say it because somebody definitely called me out on it, so it's worth mentioning, and that is mark and grade. Grade being like what you score on a test, so you get like an A, B, or a C. That's your grade. Whereas I've always said mark, so I'll say
this depends.
Well, I guess it depends on if it's a letter, like an A, B, C.
Yeah.
Or if it's a 72.
Or if it's an A, B, C, which is very like GCSE, or distinction, merit, pass.
I'd be like, what grade?
What grade did you get? But like
72 out of 100, but like, what mark did you
if it was a 6% pass rate and it was just a pass rate, that's what mark. So, what mark did you get? Oh, 100.
We'd use both, I think, depending on what the grade or whatever.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if it's the same for you. Is it numbers for mark, letters for grade? Let us know.
Yeah.
Oh, what mark did you get? Or that's the mark that I got. And I said that one time in class, and everyone kind of laughed at me and told me that I was super Canadian. So I don't know if that's just me or if that's like a thing.
That is in the comments.
What do you guys say? Maybe you can clear it up for all of us here. Let me know in the comment section. And finally, school spirit in the US is like It's like school spirit on crack. So they're crazy about the school spirit here. Sports
I love
teams
that.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome,
athletes and everything like that. There's so much money that gets put into facilities and like having the best athletes and like all of that stuff. Not to mention that everybody goes to the football games all the time, and they'll tailgate and they'll make like a whole thing about it. In Canada, we never had that. Like, honestly, I have no idea the sports teams at all in my Canadian school. Like, I barely even know. Like, I think we were Lions.
Same with the UK.
Like, I don't know. It was just not a big deal. Mind you, this is coming from someone who was in the arts, so like wasn't really big into the sports. But I find that here in the States, doesn't matter if you're into sports or not, it's a big social thing. Not to mention that everybody has like all the swag, like the shirts and the pants and the, you know, everything that's all like about your university. Everyone is super proud and like will stick like bumper stickers on their car, and it's just like the school spirit is so big here, which can be,
yeah, which is just so different to the UK. We've said it so many times,
opposite, isn't it?
Like, again, a univert game, you're lucky to get more than 20 people, 25 people to your average game. I don't know about uni, I'm just thinking normal school.
I don't even think, well, the Jersey University doesn't have a sports team.
No, I don't think it does. Obviously, no, you probably
doesn't have a football team.
No, because there's no other universities, is there?
No.
But like in the UK, the universities play against each other, but you don't get people going to them. And like, at least school...
Well, that's the Cambridge versus Oxford rowing race.
That's the big one, yeah. That's the only big one, isn't it, really? When I was at school, obviously not college, but when I was at school, we'd play against other schools, but again, it's just parents who rock up. And you get the social side of it from the people play, but not really from others.
No.
Yeah, so I can think of really.
So, yeah.
Really fun if you're into that kind of stuff, and really awkward if you're like me and cheering makes you uncomfortable. There's a lot more culture shock differences than what I thought. Like, I always grew up thinking that Canada and America are pretty much the same thing, but there's actually a lot more to it than that. And that might just be because I went from like north to like very south.
Yeah, big contrast.
So I'm sure that the northern United States is probably more similar to Canada, but this is my experience from going from Toronto to Texas. These are the differences. Let me know if you guys can relate to any of this, or if you have anything that I missed. I would love to hear about it, because I still have a few more semesters to go, and I'd love to learn how to survive them in this different country. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you...
If you guys enjoy that, let us know in the comments below. Smash that button, smash the subscribe button. Her link to the channel is in the description. She's got other videos, so let us know if you want to check them out.
Yeah, it was good. I didn't realise how like similar Canada and the UK were.
Yeah, but also at the start of it though, the US was a bit more similar.
Yeah.
With the how you get in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So definitely a bit of a mixture.
Definitely.
Smash that button, guys. Smash the subscribe button. Watch the video.
Have a fantastic day.
And see you legends in the next one. Peace.
I really managed to do that without the baby waking up.